Hi, Gary here. Luck. I think many times we define this as unusually good fortune that happens seemingly by chance. Now, I don't care for that definition of luck. To me, that's more like the lottery or maybe being unlucky, struck by lightning. I'm talking about a whole different kind of luck. And I'm going to start with a little story. Some 30 plus years ago, I used to live pretty close to my work, and I would drive home for lunch, and I'd pick up the Paul Harvey on the radio, now for the rest of the story. And he'd always have this punchline afterwards. But I remember one particular day, he gave the definition after talking about a story of a gentleman of luck is when chance meets opportunity. And I really was struck by that. In fact, I couldn't get out of my head for almost a year. I kept thinking, what does he mean by when chance meets opportunity? And it was something that then I got to learn as I moved down the road from that point. But here's a couple examples. Alexander Fleming, back in 1928, he was a biologist, and what he was trying to do as a biologist was to identify the Staphylococci bacteria and how to eradicate that bacteria, obviously killing a lot of people in hospitals and elsewhere. Well, he went off for vacation and came back to his lab and came in and found this fungus had infected all his cultures, and he threw them all in some disinfectant and walked away. A few days later, he walked back into the lab, and there was a visitor, and he pulled out a culture plate, and he noticed that there was an empty area around where the fungus was located. So he got really curious after the visitor left and spent some time and found that this empty area contained a thing called penicillin. And you kind of know the rest of the story. And that's how penicillin was invented. In fact, it was very instrumental in saving lots of lives during World War II. So here it is, this luck that took place, which was really a lot of hard work, dogged determination, ruthless, working down everything to have a chance for an opportunity. Also, many times with generous giving, it comes into play. And I always think of the story of 3M and the Post-it, and probably most of you may or may not know that they were trying to, the scientists there were trying to research and develop a very super adhesive material, something you could never pull apart. And instead they got the exact opposite, that it would just barely be an adhesive. And they tried to go to the powers that be to say, hey, I think we have a new product here, and nothing worked. So what they did is they took pieces of paper and they cut them up and they applied it to the back of the piece of paper, and they gave them to the secretary of the C-suite, and the secretary started using them. And after a couple of weeks, the C-suite executive said, well, what is this? This is a really cool thing. Where'd you get it from? And they explained what it was, and of course Post-its the rest of the story. So it's really interesting when you look and see how life can many times change your money by transitioning into something when you see a chance and an opportunity and they come together, and then you create your luck. And I find that transition happens a lot because business owners and other successful people see things that we don't see, but they're ready for them because they position themselves to be ready for those things. And then they take advantage of them, and all of a sudden lots of things change in their lives. And I think that's where luck really plays, where we have a say in how it will happen and how it will affect us and others around us by really setting that stage up, by really being prepared for it long term. And I see it with many of our clients and many people out there that have done that in their lives. And I think that's where you focus on luck, not necessarily buying lottery tickets or some of these other ways you think you might make it big. Just some food for thought. So if you want to talk more about this, please give us a call. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, enjoy.